Mamdani is doing such a horrible job in New York, y'all. He's doing such a horrible job that now Kathy Hochul is begging New York residents that moved to Florida to come back to New York, to come back to New York so they can pay into our wonderful social community programs and all that stuff. First of all, if I was a rich person, I would have ran too.
Yeah, Kathy Hochul is a politician. She's done nothing but point the finger up instead of at herself for a lot of things that have gone wrong in the city she's governing. Her favorite line is, "It's because of Donald Trump." But Donald Trump didn't place a congestion tax on the city. Kathy Hochul did, all by her lonesome. In fact, Donald Trump didn't want the tax to go through.
Ladies and gentlemen, still away right now, but the grind doesn't stop. So in today's video, New York Governor Kathy Hochul is now out here begging wealthy New Yorkers not to leave the state. Oh, and if they could really help out and do her a favor and ask their rich friends who already abandoned New York for more affordable states, can you tell them to come back too, please? Because now the state needs the tax base. Funny how things change. Not that long ago, the message was to those same people that they weren't really needed, that they weren't true New Yorkers, and that the state would be just fine without them. But now there's a push to bring them back so the government can fund all of these programs. So it's a bit interesting how that seems to work. When you start running out of other people's money, suddenly tone changes because you need more of other people's money. And so we're going to break it all down. As always, smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the content. And for more videos, subscribe and turn on all for your notifications. That way YouTube never forgets to let you know when I drop. Let's get right into it.
And we're here to say that the era of Trump and Zeldin and Molinaro, just jump on a bus and head down to Florida where you belong, okay? Get out of town. Get out of town. Because you don't represent our values. You are not New Yorkers.
So you heard that where Kathy Hochul said Republicans should jump on a bus and head down to Florida during a campaign for Pat Ryan, congressman out of New York, in 2022. And since then, she has gone on to support socialist Mayor Zoran Mamdani when he was running for mayor, promising to tax the rich and make them pay their fair share. But now with many New Yorkers choosing to leave New York for more tax-friendly and affordable states, the governor, she's changing her tune. Not only is she asking wealthy New Yorkers who left the state to come back, she's also asking them to talk to their rich friends and convince them to turn around and come back to New York as well. Take a listen.
I think are going to get voted on tomorrow. No huge surprise, but the State Assembly and the Senate included these revenue raisers, tax increases on some of the higher tax brackets and also corporations in their plans. Has your thinking changed at all on these tax proposals?
You know, let me frame it this way. I know New Yorkers are exasperated. They feel that everything's stacked against them. They're not getting ahead. Their rents are too damn high. Their child care costs are high. Their utility bills, and thank you to Washington, we're going to have higher prices at the pump. We already do. Everything just seems so hard for people. So I understand that frustration. You should join me in the North Country yesterday in Ogdensburg and Watertown, and people are so upset about the tariffs, raising the cost of everything. So there is this anxiety, which is real, and we're continuing to address the affordability crisis, which I believe should be the #1 priority of this legislative session. What can we do to take off some of that pain that New Yorkers are feeling that I hear about literally every day? What I want to make sure we are smart about is having a system in place where it's not just taxing for the sake of taxing, and being conscious of the facts that I need people who are high net worth to support the generous social programs that we want to have in our state. Right? Now, there are some patriotic millionaires who stepped up. Okay, cut me the checks. I mean, just if you want to be supportive, but maybe the first step should be go down to Palm Beach and see who you can bring back home, because our tax base has been eroded. So I philosophically don't have a problem. It is like I have to look at the fact that we are in competition with other states who have less of a tax burden on their corporations and their individuals.
And so now she realizes that it's a competition for where people can live. I mean, there's always been a competition. You were in competition when you told people, especially those who were wealthy and supported Trump, that you didn't need them. That was a competition then, that they weren't real New Yorkers and that they weren't welcome. Leave. You're not welcome here anymore. Firing up the base at the rally, right? But now all of a sudden, she wants those same people back. Unbelievable when you really think about it. What kind of sales pitch do you have if you're New York besides, hey, we're New York? Because what it sounds like is them saying, please come back. We need to tax you. We want to be able to tax you more and take more of your money for all our government programs. This is what happens when Democrats end up pandering to the far left. Now they're expected, basically forced, to stand on those same radical policies. She endorsed Mamdani knowing all the policies he wanted to push. They were holding hands during the campaign rallies, smiling. And she must have thought that she could go along with it and then switch up things later. But it doesn't work like that because the radical left and the Democrat Party has taken over. They're telling their base exactly what they want to hear. More tax the rich, more free stuff. And now we're seeing where this is going. You got Mamdani basically giving her an ultimatum. Either tax the rich more or tax everybody. And in an election year, she doesn't want to be tied to more tax increases.
Mayor Mamdani is saying that if the state doesn't tax the rich, they'll have to raise property tax here in the city.
And as political reporter Marcia Kramer explains, it's all part of his new spending plan that he calls a last resort.
But I want to be clear. $5.4 billion is still a very steep mountain to climb.
In laying out his $127 billion fiscal plan that, despite the gap, increases spending by over $14 billion, the mayor offered a strategy that offers Governor Hochul and state lawmakers a Hobson's choice. Either pass election year tax hikes on the rich and corporations, or he will raise property taxes on everyone, homeowners, building owners, and corporations that own property here.
The property tax increase, if the city was forced to do so, would be at a 9.5% increase. This is something that we do not want to do, and this is something that we are going to utilize every single option to ensure does not come to pass.
But to some, it was a cynical attempt to leverage his popularity to wring more money out of Albany. Facing re-election, Governor Hochul has already ruled out taxing the rich, even though, by Mamdani's calculations, it's only 33,000 New York City residents. And today, the governor said she was against a property tax.
I'm not supportive of property tax increase. I don't know that that's necessary, but let's find out what is really necessary for him to close that gap.
I pointed that out to the mayor, asking, I wonder if we have a situation where this is a clash between ideology and reality, and if faced with the fact that you won't get those taxes from Albany, would you really, really, really raise property taxes here in New York City?
This is not a conversation on the basis of ideology. This is a conversation about a fiscal crisis. And when faced with this crisis, the question is who should pay these taxes? I believe that it should be the wealthiest New Yorkers, the most profitable corporations.
Yeah, so you have Kathy Hochul saying, please come back, and Mamdani saying, if you do, we're going to tax you even more than what you were paying even before you left. I don't think that's a great way to convince people to return. I'm just saying, if I was a New Yorker and then left and I was able to keep more of my money instead of giving it to the government, I'm good. I think I can make fine with staying in sunny Florida or wherever I decide to move. You can always just go and catch a Broadway show, go to a Knicks game, go watch the Yankees, go grab a slice of pizza, do everything they want, just not live in New York, right? Not when you have Democrats who are pushing these kind of policies. But those are my thoughts in the updates. Now let me hear from you. Drop your comments down below. As always, smash that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the content. For more, subscribe and turn on your notifications to the channel. And as always, until next time.